The atmospheric pressure gauge on Dr. Marcus Chen's wrist display flashed red as Kepler 442b's twin moons rose over the crystalline forests. 1.4 bars. Breathable. But the oxygen-nitrogen ratio made every breath feel like sucking air through wet cloth. He adjusted his rebreather mask and continued his geological survey, his boots crunching against the planet's silicon-based vegetation that glittered like shattered glass in the fading light. The screech cut through the thin air like a sonic blade. Marcus froze, his hand instinctively moving to the plasma cutter on his belt, a tool, not a weapon, but it would have to do. The sound came again, higher pitched this time, definitely biological. Definitely terrified. He activated his helmet's audio amplification and triangulated the source. 300 meters northeast, near the tidal pools where the planet's strange ecosystem converged. Against every protocol drilled into him during the 17-month journey from Earth, Marcus ran toward the sound. The clearing opened before him like a wound in the forest. In the center, backed against a cluster of quartz-like formations, stood a figure no more than 5 feet tall. Her skin, if it could be called skin, shimmered with bioluminescent patterns that pulsed in what Marcus's xenobiology training recognized as a fear response. She was Xin, one of the indigenous species his team had been carefully observing from orbit for 6 months before landing. Surrounding her were 4 creatures his team had designated as silicon wolves, apex predators with crystalline fangs and hide tough enough to deflect small arms fire. Their internal temperature readings showed 400 degrees Celsius heat-based metabolism that made them living furnaces. The Xin girl's large opalescent eyes met his. Her mouth parts, a complex arrangement of cartilaginous plates, moved in what his universal translator interpreted as, "Help, please, younglings." Marcus saw them then. 3 smaller Xin, barely a foot tall, huddled behind her protective stance. A family unit. The wolves had already killed an adult male whose body lay 10 meters away, his bioluminescence fading to black. Every first contact protocol screamed at Marcus to retreat, to call his team, to let nature take its course on an alien world. But his hand had already drawn the plasma cutter. "Get behind me," he said, knowing his translator implant would convert his words into frequency patterns the Xin could understand. "Now!" The girl didn't hesitate. She grabbed the younglings and scrambled behind Marcus's bulkier human frame. The wolves' thermal signatures spiked. They'd registered a new threat. The Alpha charged first. Marcus swept the plasma cutter in a wide arc, the superheated stream slicing through air molecules and creating a barrier of ionized particles. The wolf's crystalline hide could deflect bullets, but plasma reached temperatures of 20,000 Kelvin, hot enough to liquefy diamond. The creature's leading edge began to melt, and it retreated with a sound like shattering glass. But the others learned. They spread out, using pack tactics evolution had honed over millions of years. Marcus's oxygen reserve showed 23 minutes remaining. His plasma cutter had perhaps 5 minutes of continuous use left in its power cell. He couldn't fight them all, but he didn't have to. Marcus grabbed a percussion charge from his geology kit, used for taking seismic readings. He set it for maximum yield and hurled it toward the largest quartz formation 30 meters away. The explosion sent crystalline shrapnel in a wide radius. The wolves, with their silicon-based biology, instinctively shielded themselves from what their evolved responses interpreted as a natural predator, falling crystal debris. In that moment of distraction, Marcus activated his emergency beacon. "Chen to base, code black, requesting immediate extraction, coordinates uploaded, wildlife situation critical." Commander Yuki's voice crackled through his comm. "Chen, what the hell are you doing?" "You're supposed to be at Site 7. Commander, I'm with indigenous sentience. Juvenile Xin under attack. I've intervened. Protocol Omega." A pause. Protocol Omega. The one clause in their mission charter that overrode all others. the protection of sentient life, regardless of origin. Extraction team launching. ETA 12 minutes. Stay alive, Marcus. 12 minutes. His oxygen showed 19 minutes left. His plasma cutter was at 40% charge. The wolves were regrouping. The Jin girl touched his arm. Her three-fingered hand warm despite the cooling evening air. Her bioluminescent patterns had shifted to a steady blue rhythm. His translator parsed her chemical communication. Why help? Not your kind. Marcus kept his eyes on the circling predators. We're all somebody's kind. She made a sound his translator couldn't parse, but he didn't need translation to understand it was gratitude. The wolves rushed together, a coordinated final assault. Marcus dropped to one knee, placed himself between them and the Xin, and fired the plasma cutter in controlled bursts. One wolf fell, its silicon hide compromised. Another retreated with severe thermal damage, but the alpha kept coming. Marcus's power cell hit 2%. The wolf was 5 meters away, 3 meters. He could smell the ozone from its superheated body. A spear of crystalline material, thrown with impossible precision, struck the wolf's thermal vent, the evolutionary cooling port in its neck. The creature collapsed, its internal temperature spiking fatally as its heat regulation system failed. Marcus turned. The Jin girl held another crystal spear, her bioluminescence now a fierce red. She had saved him just as he had saved her. The extraction shuttle's thrusters lit up the clearing with plasma wash. Commander Yuki's voice, "All aboard, people. Let's go home." Marcus looked at the girl, at the younglings clinging to her. "Come with us. We have medical facilities. We can help." She touched his arm again. This time, her patterns showed a complex emotion, his translator labeled as gratitude, sadness, hope. "You showed kindness. You're kind. Maybe good. Maybe we can know each other." As the shuttle lifted off, Marcus watched the Xin family disappear into their crystalline forest. On his wrist display, the xenobiology team was already analyzing the interaction data. First successful contact with Xin civilization. First proof of their tool use. Their language complexity. Their capacity for interspecies cooperation. First proof that humanity could meet the universe with something other than fear. Commander Yuki stood beside him as Kepler 442b shrank below them. "You broke about 40 protocols today, Chen." Marcus smiled. "Yeah, I did." "Good. That's exactly what Protocol Omega was designed for, knowing when to be human instead of just following orders." Through the shuttle's viewport, Marcus saw a brief flash of blue light from the forest canopy. The Xin girl's bioluminescence, pulsing a pattern his translator now recognized. "Until we meet again, friend." Marcus touched his hand to the viewport glass. "Until we meet again." End.